Did you actually know that your dog can read your face better than a chimpanzee can, but cannot figure out how to open a container that a wolf solves in 30 seconds? Most dog owners think their dog is either genuinely brilliant or just lovably goofy. But what's actually happening inside that brain is something far more complicated and far more fascinating than either of those conclusions. It changes how your dog communicates, how they perceive the world, and why they behave the way they do around you specifically. You're about to understand might completely change the way you see your dog every single day. Here's what the science actually found. And stay with me, because the last point is the one that pulls everything together. Point 1. Your dog is reading you right now. Not the way you think. Have you ever pointed at something across the room? The couch, the window, a toy on the floor, and your dog immediately looked exactly where you pointed? That sounds simple. It is not simple. That is one of the most sophisticated social behaviors documented in the entire animal kingdom. Researchers at Harvard's Canine Cognition Lab ran controlled tests across multiple species. Dogs, wolves, and chimpanzees were all given the same challenge. A human pointed. A human gestured. A human used their gaze to signal direction. Dogs followed it reliably, almost every single time. Wolves didn't. Chimpanzees, our closest living genetic relatives, animals with brain structures built for complex social reasoning, they struggled with it too. Your dog, the one that begs for scraps off your plate, consistently outperformed both of them. And it goes deeper than pointing. Dogs track human eye gaze. If you look toward an object, your dog follows that gaze and interprets it as meaningful information. This is called joint attention. Human infants develop it around 9 to 12 months old, and it's considered a foundational marker of social intelligence. Dogs have this ability naturally, without being specifically trained for it. Researchers believe this capacity evolved over tens of thousands of years of living alongside humans. Dogs that could interpret human signals survived and reproduced. Dogs that couldn't, didn't. So what you're living with isn't a pet that learned to pay attention. It's an animal whose entire cognitive architecture was sculpted across thousands of generations, specifically to understand you. That is extraordinary. Now here is where the story turns. And this is where most people's picture of their dog completely breaks apart. Point 2. Your dog cannot solve a problem that a wolf cracks in 30 seconds. Researchers ran a straightforward puzzle test. Food placed under a container secured with a simple latch. No maze, no complexity, just a latch. Wolves tested on this puzzle solved it in an average of 30 seconds. Dogs, trained dogs, motivated dogs, dogs that clearly wanted the food, regularly failed to solve the same puzzle in 5 full minutes. That is not a small difference. That is a collapse. And the failure didn't come from lack of motivation. These dogs wanted the food. They could smell it. They pawed at the container. They nosed it. They circled it. But the moment the problem demanded sustained, independent effort, something shifted. They stopped trying to solve it themselves. They turned around and looked at the nearest human. That behavior, looking back at you when stuck, is the key to understanding everything about your dog's intelligence. Wolves almost never do that. Wolves push through. They experiment. They persist. Dogs redirect. The moment difficulty appears, their instinct is not to try harder. Their instinct is to find you and communicate the problem. That is not stupidity. That is a deeply embedded cognitive strategy. But it has a real cost. And ELT University in Budapest proved exactly why. Point 3. The canine G-factor research changed how scientists think about dog intelligence. Researchers at ELT University ran one of the most comprehensive studies ever conducted on dog cognition. They developed a framework called the canine G-factor. essentially a measure of general intelligence across multiple cognitive domains, structured similarly to how IQ frameworks work in humans. What they found was striking. Dogs do not have uniform intelligence. They have a split profile. Social intelligence, reading human cues, tracking gaze, interpreting emotional signals, responding to communication, scores exceptionally high. Genuinely exceptional. Among all non-human animals, dogs sit near the top in this specific domain. But independent problem solving? Spatial reasoning without social input? Physical manipulation of novel objects? Persistence through frustration without external help? That score drops significantly. And the gap between those two cognitive areas doesn't close even in highly trained or high-performing dogs. It's consistent, structural. It is not a quirk of certain breeds. It runs across the entire species. And the reason for it is buried deep in their evolutionary history. Point 4. Evolution didn't make your dog smarter. It made your dog strategic. Here is the truth that changes how you see everything. Dogs didn't evolve alongside wolves. Dogs evolved alongside us. While wolves were being selected for better solo hunting, better independent navigation, better problem solving in isolation, early dogs were being selected for something completely different. They were being selected for the ability to live with humans. And living with humans means something very specific. You don't need to solve problems yourself if you can communicate your need to a human who will solve them for you. A dog that could signal hunger got fed. A dog that could express distress got help. A dog that could read its owner's mood survived conflict and stayed in the group. Over 10,000 years, generation after generation, that cognitive trade-off got reinforced. Social intelligence went up because it delivered results every single time. Independent problem solving didn't receive the same evolutionary pressure because it rarely needed to. Your dog isn't failing those puzzle tests out of laziness or low intelligence. Their brain was optimized for a completely different kind of intelligence, one that outsources difficulty to you, deliberately, by design. And here's the perspective that puts it all in focus. There are over 1 billion domestic dogs on this planet right now. Wild wolves, with all their raw problem-solving ability and physical independence, number around 300,000. The dog strategy didn't just work, it dominated. If this is shifting the way you think about your dog, take a second to subscribe. We break down real canine science every week, not the myths, not the feel-good oversimplifications. Actual research. Point 5. What this actually means for you and your dog. Your dog's social intelligence is not just impressive, it is elite. The way they monitor your emotional tone before they even process your words, the way they track your gaze across a room, the way they read your body language more accurately than most humans can. That is sophisticated, active cognitive work happening continuously, in real time, every single day. Most people never recognize it as intelligence because it looks like affection, but it is both. On the other side, when your dog struggles with puzzles or gives up quickly on an independent challenge, that is not failure. That's their brain working exactly the way 10,000 years of evolution shaped it to work. Look back at the human. Signal the need. Trust the partnership. That's not a flaw. That's the whole reason this relationship exists the way it does. And honestly, it's working out pretty well for both of you. If you want to understand your dog at this level every week, subscribe and turn on notifications. Share this with another dog owner who thinks they already know their dog. Because after this, they might want to think again.